I'm a dyslexic, so there weren't a whole lot of books in my life early on with words. But I did love stories. I love fairy tales, and I love spooky stories, and, anything with a good 25 to 30 minute brain trip for me to go on. I still like to be read to, When I was a kid, there was no such, they didn't call it dyslexia. They called it, slow, or you were retarded, or whatever. And so I learned from a guy who was running a program who I met one day, and he had written out on a board a sentence. And I said to him, I can't read that. And he said, why not? And I said, because it doesn't make any sense to me. So he said, well, write down what you see. Under each, whatever you see, write exactly what you see underneath. And so he brought me 2 letters by coordinating what I saw to something called an A, or a B, or a C, or a D. And that was pretty cool. And once you got into the habit of doing things, it became much easier. But there are all kinds of things, and probably by the time people see this in 2025, they will have been able to eliminate it. They will be able to eliminate it with just an adjustment, a little implant. But what you can never change is the effect that the words dumb and stupid have on young people. So we must always be vigilant when those 2 words get stuck in our throat. Hey, dummy, God, you're so stupid. Just remember that what those leave you with are forever, be it in 1810 or 4010, the effect that they have is the same. I knew I wasn't stupid, and I knew I wasn't dumb. My mother told me that. Everybody told me I wasn't stupid or dumb, but what else could you be if you couldn't read? If you read to me, I could tell you everything that you read, And people call you names in frustration because then they didn't know what it was. They thought, well, they knew I wasn't lazy, but what was it? It's like in those early days, and this may be a good cut point for you, but we'll see. In the early days, when little girls complained about having cramps, their mothers and their mothers' mothers and their mothers' mothers were just sort of left to deal with it because it was all in your head. Well, it took, 25, 30 years for people to understand that menstrual cramps are a real thing. They're a real thing. That PMS is a real chemical change in the body. But think of all those little girls whose mothers said to them, why do you just want attention? We learn things, but the way that those things affect us as grown people stay with us. I suspect that will happen less as we progress, but we're still dealing with it because it's still relatively new information for us now, 1994. It's still new information that these things are actual body problems, or postpartum depression is now a real viable thing, and they can help people,